So, it's me, Cyan, your favorite weird newscaster. You heard it first from Cyan. The Greys are coming to get you. Anyway, no, I don't want any ads. No, I don't want any ads. No, I don't want any ads. And I'm not gonna pay you. So, there have been rumors going around that the hacker community or the criminal internet community hasn't done the right actions when it comes to this virus, and I would like to dispel that completely with some hard data where you can actually see what is going on, so you don't have to estimate based on what any specific factions say. Now, this checkpoint map is, as far as I know, the most accurate online hacking map. It tells you who is attacking who, what they are using, and why, kinda. After a while, you get a hang of how the conversations go, who is talking with who, and so on, but that is not my point here. My point is that anybody with a good eye will immediately notice these downward spikes in the hacking activity and the time when it happened. So around February 20th, when this pandemic was at its beginning point, when we started to realize it's a global thing, the hacker community immediately downscaled the internet brain, or the activities of communication between various nations through these tools, like Israel's communication to Iran with the Stuxnet tool. That is precisely the kind of communication that I mean. Hacking is very rarely undirected at or directed at random people. It is almost always, but not always, directed to produce some kind of attitude or political change in your target. It is not for making money from your target specifically, because that is, generally speaking, a criminally bad idea. It is designed to make money from your target by changing their actions and then being one of the first people to know that their actions are going to change and benefiting from that. It has very little to do with making money from the opponent directly. That is generally considered in bad taste. Now, these downward spikes correlate with a fever response. So this being the brain of the internet, this particular type of map, you can clearly see that the attacking parties first at around February 20th to 25th downscale their activity by perhaps 75%, from 40 million attacks per day to around 15 million attacks per day. If we put that in comparison to a normal quarantine procedure, that's like putting 75% of your population in complete isolation. If any government on the world was capable or did that, they would be hailed as the guys who fought the epidemic to the hardest. And after that, there's a plateau when everybody checks if the minimum activity works, makes databases based on what they know they need to do next, and just correlates their actions so that they know what they are doing, that they aren't doing panicky steps. They give the population of their respective domains about a month. Then they start every 2 weeks or so, for a week or so, tuning the attacks to a minimum, because they are doing what flu would do. It causes the body to first warm up, then cool down and see if the virus still exists, then warm up and cool down again. It is clearly an infection response. This is clearly the response of the one human mind, if you will, the internet, the planetary mind, whatever you want to call this particular hoopla, this nothingness, if you will. So first there's a mild spike of fever, then the situation returns to normal for around a month, and around half a month, and then the spikes start going up and down because the body is fighting the fever. I have to pause this song because this is Michael Jackson. They are going to block this video if I don't. I hate the fact that you can't play anything you want back to the radio. It's like the radio owns the song that it's playing to you and makes you like force listen to it. I hate that system. But back to the point at hand. So this human brain and the hacker community is showing clear signs of very directed activity. You can't just get a 75% drop in activity without some kind of communal group acceptance, because when the other attackers stop, you would be resuming your activity to make more money because everybody else is quiet. This is exactly the type of activity I have come to expect and value from the hacker community. They have decided to make a simulation of the virus and its patterns and react to it like a flu would, or like to a flu. They have done the things that they mean to do, and they are, as this data points out, clearly fighting the virus. They are not supporting it, and they are clearly against it. So I wanted to point out that there's a lot of talk about the hacker community doing the wrong thing, but when you look at the math and the data, they are fighting this virus with more intensity than most nations do, and they are fighting it with 75% of their entire energy, if you will. That would be like devoting 75% of your total GDP momentarily to fighting the virus. Even like China had industry running while they were fighting the virus, and this is what we see here. So in short, without too much palabra, the hacker community is fighting the virus. Stop saying that they're attacking hospitals. They're fighting the virus, and they are doing a good job.